Hello, welcome to the first in our series of 10 podcasts on IFRS 9's new impairment model. I'm Sandra Thompson. I'm the global leader of our financial instruments technical team here in PwC.
And I'm Mark Randall. I work in our UK accounting technical function where I look after the banking practice.
In this first podcast, we're going to give you a brief overview of the new impairment requirements, and we're going to give you a high-level feel as to why this is such a big issue for the banks. So I'm going to kick off with a brief overview of the model. IFRS 9 applies in 2018, and I think it's well recognised that for many banks it's a very big accounting change. Indeed, it may be the biggest change in living memory. The model itself is quite complicated, and in this podcast series we haven't got time to go into all of the detail. So we hope to give you a flavour both of the model and in particular what's causing difficulties in practice and what are the tricky issues that banks are struggling with. So the model itself, at a high level, it moves from today's incurred loss model that's largely backwards looking and requires something to have happened in the past that a loan has got worse in order to book an impairment, into a new forward-looking expected loss model that very much looks forward to what you expect to happen over the life of a loan. The booking of impairment losses under IFRS 9 is a three-stage model. So when a bank first originates a loan and puts it on its books, it will at that point have to recognise an impairment loss, but it will be a 12-month expected loss. That is, the losses associated with the possibility the loan will default in the next 12 months. The bank will then do a continuous assessment of whether the loan has significantly increased in credit risk since it was first originated. And if there is that significant increase in credit risk, then the loan will move into stages 2 or 3. And at that point, the loss will step up from a 12-month loss to a full lifetime loss. And as its name suggests, that is the loss associated with the possibility that the loan will default at any time in its lifetime. So that's a very quick overview of the model. I'm now going to hand over to Mark, who's going to take us through why this is such a tricky issue for the banks in practice.
Thanks a lot, Sandra. There are three key elements that I would pick up. The first is around volatility. So, as Sandra described, the provisions required can be over the entire life of a loan. So looking out over possibly a 25-year time horizon when looking at a mortgage, there's a lot that can happen in that period, and those changes can flow through into volatility in the provision and hit the profit and loss account. And generally speaking, banks are expecting that the level of provision they're going to require is going to increase at transition. So there's a bigger number to be volatile. The second real challenge I would focus on is around data. So again, as Sandra described, when determining whether or not there's been that significant increase in credit risk that moves a loan from stage 1 and into stage 2 and causes the level of provision to step up to a full lifetime expected credit loss, that test is done by reference to the credit risk back at origination or initial recognition. That might be, let's say, 20 years ago, and finding that data can be a real challenge for banks. And as well as looking backwards, there's that requirement to look forward over potentially very long periods of time, over 25 years, for example. Again, it's just more data. And then lastly, systems are typically going to be impacted. Whereas today, under IAS 39, relatively simple systems might have been possible because only a small portion of the portfolio was impaired and needed a provision to be calculated on it. Under the IFRS 9 model, provisions are recorded on all instruments within the scope, be they in stage 1, 2 or 3. So the demands from a computational point of view and systems is just really significant for many banks. And so all of those factors really combine from a practical and operational point of view, even setting aside the technical accounting issues, to make IFRS 9 a real challenge for the banks.
Thank you, Mark. So I think you'll see that this is not just an accounting change, but has systems and data implications as well. So just to recap, IFRS 9 is going to be a big change for the banks. We are moving from today's largely backwards-looking incurred loss model into a forwards-looking expected loss model. As a result, we expect provisions to increase in most cases and to become more volatile. Actually calculating the numbers is going to be tricky. It will have big data and systems implications, and of course the government's requirements that go with that. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you'll join us for our future podcasts where we're going to delve into a little bit more of the detail. Bye-bye.